We finally made it, man. We finally made it to Red Rage. If anybody's new to this show, you guys may not know who I am. My name's Will Polston. I'm one of the guys from GMs for Hire. I'm typically the main host. I'm one of the main editors on the show as well. And, I've been talking about doing my own little side show. RJ's had his little pit stop. Matt's had his Perry's pit. So I'm here to bring you Red Rage. Red Rage is going to be my full on show where all I do is rant and I talk about the things in sports that really piss me off. And so, here we go. I was gonna start with Jared Goff. If you've been around the show for a while, you know I'm a Jared Goff hater, man. I can't stand that guy. But I'm gonna start on a different topic instead. I'm starting with my beloved Chicago Bears, baby. Bear Don. For starters, what the fuck are we doing? Letting Matt Nagy call plays. Can we take a look at this game that we just played against the Rams? We're just coming off of a Week 7 loss against the Los Angeles Rams, who have only beat teams from the NFC East and us now? Like, they haven't beat a legitimate team other than us if we are a legitimate team. Like, what even are we right now? If you break down this team from the play calling, from the offensive line, from the quarterback play, we are the imposters. Vote us out and among us. We are the imposters of the NFL. I'm really starting to believe that we may be the worst 5-2 team in history. Let's start, like I said, with the play calling. McDonald's ice cream machines have worked more than Matt Nagy calling offensive plays, and it is absolutely pathetic to watch. Go back in this game, and at a point, sure, we were already down and out, but at a point, we had a 4th and 1. A 4th and 1, 1 yard. It's not hard. 1 yard's not difficult to get. Fans at home, what's the first thing you think of whenever you need a 1 yard? A dive right up the middle. Maybe a quarterback sneak. Nothing too intense. This man decides to pitch it to the left to our wide receiver running back hybrid Cordero Patterson. And we needed 1 fucking yard. One yard. And you're going to pitch it to the left. If you look at it, I'm going to put a screen grab right here. Look at how far back behind the line of scrimmage he is. You just turned that 1 yard play into like a 6 or 7 yard game that you need to get. He's all the way in the back. What is that play call? Like, where is that a great decision? Wait, what? And here's the kicker. Bears fans, he's already announced that he's going to keep play calling duties. Oh, so you want to see us lose now. I didn't know it was that obvious. Matt Nagy, you hurt me so much. I said the quarterback play's been awful too. But man, you can't do anything behind that offensive line, man. That offensive line is just made out of marshmallows and then Cody Whitehair right in the middle. And of course, he decides to get hurt in last game too. Hopefully he'll be back. Our left guard's last name is Coward, and that's the easiest way to explain our offensive line. Swiss cheese has less holes in it than our offensive line. Butt plugs stop more things than our offensive line. Girls block more creepy dudes' numbers at the bar in a week than the Bears' offensive line will stop pass rush all season. I mean, we are hot garbaje. I mean, there is no positive thing about our offense. Not one. And it's a damn shame because our wide receiver core is very criminally underrated. Like, Allen Robinson's a great wide receiver. Anthony Miller's a good wide receiver. Darnell Mooney's been doing great his rookie season, at least, from the workload he's been getting. Jimmy Graham is getting back to Jimmy Graham form. Not completely, but he's definitely playing better than he did in Green Bay. Cole Kmet is criminally underused. He could definitely be a great receiving option for us at tight end. There's so many options for this offense. And instead, we rely on David Montgomery, who's going to get us 2 yards a carry, and Cordero Patterson, who doesn't even know what position he plays. Speaking of Allen Robinson, can we fucking re-sign him real quick? Like, Ryan Pace, what's going on in your head? Like, seriously, you are criminally, you are ill if you think not signing Allen Robinson is the right play. What are we saving that money for? This team hurts hard. Ryan Pace, if you're watching this, I'm 6'3" or 6'4". I'm 380 pounds. I haven't played offensive line, but if you need me to just come in and learn the footwork real quick, by all means, give me a call. I promise to God I'll stop more than our left guard or our right guard. I'm more convinced that me with a week worth of training could stop more than Bobby Massey and Rashawn Coward. I'm also convinced if we had any other running back, we could at least manage to get more than 2.5 yards of carry behind this really shitty offensive line. With this terrible offensive line, let's play a game real quick. Let's just see what you guys think is going to happen first. Feel free to comment this down below. Do you think a running back's going to have a 100-yard rushing game? Do you think a quarterback's going to have a 300-yard passing game? Or do you think somebody's going to get struck by lightning twice? What do you think's going to happen first? My money's on the Lightning. This offensive line would give up 9 sacks to a high school football team. Joe Burrow has nightmares about his offensive line, but he'd do even worse behind the Bears' offensive line. Offensive is the only way to put it. It is completely offensive to the Chicago Bears fans to have those 5 guys out there. And to think there's guys on the bench who can't beat these guys out. Like, to Matt Nagy, this is literally the best 5 option we have. Isn't that kind of terrible? Isn't that kind of pathetic? We are clinging on to a Super Bowl defense. Because this Super Bowl defense, like this defense could take us to a Super Bowl if we needed it. But here's the thing. When you have the best defense in the league, combined with the worst offense in the league, you're about a mid-level team, and that's going to get us nowhere. And I'd say our offense is so bad that we're not even up there to a mid-level team. When you look at it, what game have we actually won? The Detroit Lions beat themselves because DeAndre Swift dropped that ball. The Atlanta Falcons blew that huge-ass lead. The Giants almost came back on us at the very last second. Dementia beat the Bucks. We beat the Carolina Panthers. Is that it? Because any other game has not been realistic, and any other game we should not be happy of. We have not legitimately beat a team, like, other than the Carolina Panthers. And even then, you could probably find some kind of loophole that makes you think that it's not legitimate either. The Bears have done less legitimate beating than Ray Rice. Okay, let's not go that far. Okay, all right, let's slow down. That's a little bit intense. Let's not mention him. Bears fans, listen to me. I'm a Bears fan myself. I love this team with all my heart. I love the Bears. I will always be a Bears fan. There's nothing that can sway me away from Chicago. But we can't be happy. We can't. There's no way we can be happy with this team. If you're a Bears fan and you're watching this and you're happy with this team, comment why below. Like, comment why you think we're gonna win. Like, why are you happy with this roster? I love our defense, but even the safety movement over the last 3 seasons has been absolutely abysmal. You know, we've kept Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson's a great safety, but the fact that we should be moving, if we're not moving upwards, we should at least be moving lateral. And we've gone from Adrian Amos, who's arguably top 15 safety in the league, and we left Adrian Amos to go get Clinton Dix. And then after Clinton Dix, we went and got Tashawn Gibson. Sure, Tashawn Gibson's had a couple of clutch interceptions so far, but he's not a better safety than Adrian Amos. He's not a better safety than Clinton Dix. Like, what are we thinking? Who's evaluating talent on this team? Speaking of evaluating talent, what guy went and got Cole Kmet? Because Cole Kmet's a great tight end. And then why are we so criminally underusing him? Why did we spend a 2nd-round pick on a guy that we're not going to throw to? We are wasting a Cole Kmet kind of talent and using him like Adam Shaheen. And Adam Shaheen was from a D3 program that nobody had ever heard of. And now we've got Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, who is arguably the best tight end in his class. And we're not using him. We've used him like once or twice. And now Matt Nagy wants to come out and say that the problem, a lot of the problem could be in the running game, and that now we may see Lamar Miller come up from the practice squad. Like, what the fuck is going on? Lamar Miller. I mean, it can't get any worse, right? I mean, why not? Why not try him out? What other running backs are free? We could go ask somebody, what's Joik Bell doing? What's Amir Abdullah doing? Like, go contact every running back that hasn't been relevant over the last 4 seasons, and let's call them up, see what they're doing. Can we bring back any of our old running backs? Where's Matt Forte? I mean, yeah, Matt Forte's retired, but what's he doing right now? You know, I would trust a 90-year-old Matt Forte before I trust any of these running backs behind our offensive line. Speaking of which, what do you think is going to happen first? Do you think that the Bears will get a legitimate win over a decent team? Or do you think that they'll draft a good quarterback first? I mean, who the fuck is evaluating talent at quarterback? Mitch Trubisky and Nick Foles? So we're going to give a guy who has 13 career college starts and then a guy who's been a career backup all of his life, and the only decent starting spot he's ever had was under Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher. You guys know Jeff Fisher? Jeff Fisher showed what kind of true quarterback Jared Goff really is. And then Sean McVay came in and made him a stud, or whatever the fuck you want to call him. Jared Goff's a system quarterback. Enough about Jared Goff. This is about the Bears. Bears fans, me included, we can't be happy with this team. I mean, this team is awful. There's so many bad things about this team. The offense needs a complete overhaul, and the one person that needs to stay is Allen Robinson, and that's the one guy we won't re-sign. How do you not re-sign Allen Robinson? This man has made terrible quarterbacks look somewhat decent for his whole entire career. This man went from Blake Bortles to Mitch Trubisky to Nick Foles. I mean, the guy literally saves quarterbacks' careers. He at least gets him another year or two in relevancy. Wake up, Bears fans. We're not good. We're not. And I'm sure, bearing some kind of monumental collapse, we're going to make the playoffs. Like, unless something so terribly happens to where the team all of a sudden does a complete 180, then we're going to make the playoffs. But unless we get pinned up against that NFC East team that's for some reason going to host a playoff game, I don't think we're going to do anything. And in fact, I don't even think we stand a chance. Look at the other postseason teams right now. We're not going to beat the Buccaneers. Not again. We're not going to beat the Packers. We're not going to beat the Saints. I guarantee we're not even going to beat the Saints in week 8. It's not going to happen. We're not going to beat anybody from the NFC West. I mean, all 4 of those teams in that division are better than us. So what's left? You got to pray. Like, you really have to pray that we end up as the top wild card and we can face that terrible team from the NFC East. Because otherwise, freaking shove it right on up there because we're done. The only thing we're really doing right now by winning more games is royally fucking ourselves out of a decent draft pick. Why do we have Bill Lazor to be the offensive coordinator if he's not going to call plays? Like, what's the point of an offensive coordinator if he's not doing anything? Matt Nagy has proved multiple times that he cannot call plays. Like, you're not in Kansas City anymore, buddy. You're with the Chicago Bears. Why don't you call plays like you're with the Chicago Bears? You don't have Pat Mahomes. You don't have Tyreek Hill. You don't have Travis Kelce. You have Nick Foles, David Montgomery, Allen Robinson, and Jimmy Graham. Call plays like you have those people. Like, what are you doing? Why are you trying to turn Tariq Cohen and Cordero Patterson into the next Tyreek Hill? Like, either one of them's as fast or as good of a wide receiver or as good of a route runner or anything like that. And now that Tariq Cohen's hurt, he doesn't have his big change of pace guy, and our offense is even more stagnant than it was before. I trust gas station sushi more than I trust Matt Nagy's play calling. I trust random phone calls that I get from an automated voice message that say that my dead uncle left me $4 million more than I trust Matt Nagy's play calling. I get better offensive plays from Ask Madden. Bears fans, we have this big slate in front of us. We have to play the Saints. Then we play the Titans. We've got to play the Packers twice. I mean, we got to be holding on for dear life here. The only thing that's getting us by is we still have to play the Vikings twice, and we get to play the Lions again, and eventually we play the Jaguars. But the Jaguars have been a sneaky team, and they've managed to win a couple of games. Don't be shocked if we lose that one. I mean, what's a realistic record for this team at this point? I don't know the rest of our schedule, but right now I'd say realistically we could go 8-8. We are going to be so monumentally bad the second half of this season. Unless Matt Nagy can, for some reason, just click in his head that he shouldn't call plays. Matt Nagy's seat has to be so burning hot after this season. But like right now, based off of his offensive play calling, I want his head on a pike. And if you don't agree, like, you can't be watching the same Bears team I'm watching. Like, when you look at our schedule, who are we realistically going to beat? Like, who could we actually 100% beat because we are going to outskill them? Not because of our defense. Not because of our defense. Obviously, our defense can beat a lot of teams. But who could we beat offensively? What teams in the NFL could the Bears actually outplay on the offensive side of the ball? Our defense just scored more points than our offense, for fuck's sake. Let that sit in your head. The defensive side of the ball scored more points than the offense. It's not like we were playing Nate Peterman. Like, it's not like that game against the Bills when we had like 3 or 4 defensive touchdowns and a lot of turnovers. Like, this isn't this is an actual quarterback. Jared Goff is an actual quarterback in the NFL. Nate Peterman should be a figment of your imagination. And our defense still scored more than our offense. Against a decent Rams defense, too. I mean, the Rams defense is okay, but like 3 points. And the only reason we got in field goal range was because of a pass interference. Pathetic. Our offense was literally just stagnant. I mean, absolutely pitiful. Just pitiful. There's no hope. On the offensive side of the ball, there's no hope. We haven't signed Allen Robinson yet. So what makes you think we're going to do it now? Just scrap the offense. Just completely restart. Because the offensive side of the ball is done. We should play defense all 4 quarters and just hope that we get a pick 6 or a strip sack fumble somewhere in there. All right, I'm done ranting. Let me know if you guys want me to shit on your team for a little bit. Let me know if you have a specific player or any specific moment in sports history that you guys want me to rant about. Red Rage is going to be a little bit open, and I'm just going to get pissed off about certain things. But I'm really just trying to do this to entertain. Other than the Bears. The Bears are an absolute... They're just a shit show. This isn't much entertainment. Like, there's no entertainment in watching the Bears offense. But anyway, guys, that's it for me. This has been it for the premiere episode of Red Rage. I hope you enjoy it, and hopefully we'll catch you in the next one. Again, feel free to leave comments down below about what player, team, anything else I should do next. But until next time, we'll catch you later. Peace.